you see the statistics, you see the data, and heart disease does not discriminate. So I think this organization, especially with the Go Red for Women and that leadership council and bringing the awareness and visibility to it and all that, those type of things, you just have to.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our White Spider Community Spotlight. Today, we are going to talk about the American Heart Association and their Go Red event coming up. We are here with our two amazing guests. We are here with White Spiders, founder and CGO. I forgot your title.
It's all good. It's all good.
Fine.
Doesn't even matter.
I've only worked with you for like 8 years, but
doesn't even matter.
This is Eric Howerton.
Thank
we
you,
are also
Brooke.
here with our esteemed guest. This is Doug, and I have no idea how to say your last name.
Kavulich.
Kavulich, yes.
Just like that.
Just like
Kavulich.
Very simple.
This is Doug Kavulich, and he is a man. I don't even remember your title either.
KISS Products,
KISS
beauty
Products.
supplier to Walmart,
Yeah.
and senior sales director of the local team here, and also on the American Heart Association leadership committee. And my company KISS Products that I work for it's been about, need to look it up, but about a 6-year minimum partnership with this group.
Awesome.
In association with Walmart and the supplier community and the American Heart Association, and it's been great.
That's awesome. That was basically going to be my first question. You know, it's like, so you guys are both involved with the American Heart Association and the Go Red for Women event. So what made you want to get involved with that?
Well, speaking for, I think myself and the local team, I really think at least myself, until I saw like the data and the numbers come out, just how, detrimental and brutal heart disease can be. Heart attacks, heart disease, and men and women, especially in particular, as we sit here today to talk about that. And I think when we joined up with it, again, novel cause and good association, but I really think with the COVID-19, what happened there with that pandemic and a lot more further health issues that have come from it, whether it's the heart or other things, but the heart being definitely a part of that, I really think just brought this organization more into the spotlight and how important it is and the positive contributions that the group does.
Yes. Well, speaking on COVID, I just want to hang out in the COVID part a little bit. I mean, tell us a little bit about what you've seen that COVID kind of caused or maybe accelerated or created another view and lens at what American Heart Association is doing.
That's a great question because at the onset of COVID, personally in March of 2020, my wife Lynn had some health issues, maybe not specifically heart related, but other physical health issues with stress and just being home, and everyone handles stress levels differently depending on the human being, but just being home in the front end and caused her anaphylactic shock and sweats, which basically gave him to be mastocytosis. So you can look that up. It's a very specialty disease. So identified it, found the treatment for it. It's been kind of up and down. So, even though maybe not directly with the heart area, still was a definite COVID-19, I think on take of this. So that really on that personal front with the females in our lives. Then also having a daughter who is turning 14 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Riley.
Happy birthday.
Birthday, Riley.
Hard to believe it.
Yeah.
And you got to look out for those things as they grow.
Yeah, I saw a report on NPR. I guess I didn't see it, I heard it. But, they were talking about how, how COVID-19 directly correlated to like a rise in heart problems, for both men and women, but especially women. And one of the big factors was stress.
Yeah.
So stress was one of the big factors. And, and being home all the time and not exercising as much. So that was, those were two of the big factors that led to
alcohol
an increase.
Intake, food.
Yeah,
diet,
that was another
bunch of
one.
different things.
They said alcohol consumption, just alcohol sales, like tripled during the pandemic. And they said it's going back down, but it's not where it used to be.
Well,
so
I think a lot of things during that, when we think about COVID, really it was other than obviously the direct impact of, the illness itself, but of COVID, but it's that isolation, You're talking about everybody all at one time isolating as fast as possible. And when you talk about stress, right, you need other people in your lives, and you need activity. If you become isolated and then you're not engaged with other folks personally in physical, like we are right now, things, your mind doesn't stop working, right? And the all the questions and everything else that you're trying to deal with, and the emotional part about it, and all that stuff. I mean, that affects you. I mean, that's where the stress really starts coming in. I mean, if you feel like that nobody to talk to, nobody to commune with. I mean, fellowship and community are massively important to human beings, period.
Yeah. And Zoom just wasn't the same.
Zoom was not the same. And neither was I think that even, one thing we noticed about the Zoom, right, Doug, was that, compared to meetings that we had before, if you have a meeting in person and you're going from an office to another office, you at least have that 5-minute break between that where you had to go walk to the other office, in which that point you can
the
meet
Zoom
with other
fatigue
people.
is real.
It is real.
Very real.
But those seconds and splits, the next thing you know, your whole day's gone, and all you've been doing is hearing problems and trying to take care of stuff, and then you turn around and the people that are at your house have been isolated the whole time as well. I mean, it's just like
all sports were canceled, prom was canceled, all extracurriculars were canceled.
All the things that relieve stress in a lot of ways were canceled.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we can talk about the COVID-19 all day, but I mean, that was the thing that for those of us that were healthy and fortunate to move forward, there were positives out of it. I mean, just some to get to know neighbors and get the kids outside, and some of those positives stuck. But at the same time, we're just a society that needs to be press the flesh, touching, being interacting, and
absolutely.
But again, I think that's where American Heart Association even gets a larger platform coming out of that, with heart health being so crucial.
Yes, yeah. And so, why is it so important to support health in women?
I think, as I kind of said before, until it happened, the heart disease happened to some family members that were female. You didn't know how prevalent as a male. You just think, oh, men get heart attacks, but it does happen to women, and there can be screening and processes done on the front end to look for it, which again is another framework of the American Heart Group.
My perspective is I don't know how the women in my life do it. Like, my wife, I mean, she's constantly works, comes home, takes care of the family, makes sure details. She's logistically just constantly doing something, and all that stuff's stressful. And it's even hard and difficult to get her to disengage from all the responsibilities and the activities that she has going on, and I think that, and as the world kind of accelerates and the demands kind of continue to press on her, you just kind of adapt to that subconsciously without really thinking about it. But at the end of the day, you're really just stacking on top of stress and more stress and more stress, and it takes, a lot of times it takes an awakening at some point, right, where you're just like, okay, I can't do that anymore. But that usually happens, at just some sort of random time. It's not something you're like, what, I've been putting too much on my plate. I need to take this off and that off, and then you can easily take it off. No, it usually kind of comes with some sort of, event or episode where you're just like, okay, I've got too much going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what do you all do for your ladies? What do you do to help relieve stress and stay heart healthy?
Go for it, Doug.
Wide open question.
Yeah. It's yours. You're first.
I think, in all seriousness, mutual exercise activity.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Doing it together, individually, whatever you can, whether your partner works or not, got to be mobile and try to do more of that, from the minimum of taking walks on a nice day to more hardcore exercising and fitness. And then, of course, diet, which is probably the most important. Not that anybody's perfect with it, but I think you have to just watch, especially you start getting into the decade that me and my wife are in, and a lot of us are advancing towards. It becomes more important because lifetime goes fast.
Yeah.
So I think, you just have to watch those two things and just doing positive activities together.
You know, I like that. And the exercise doesn't have to be too terribly complicated or rigorous, right? I mean, I think like
Absolutely.
some of the things I've seen Tara, my wife, like her stress level go down is like, even if we take walks around the block together, and you can take those goofy dogs that you got, right?
I know. We'll take the dog. We'll walk the dog down to get my son after school. I got his little after school care. Yeah.
And those times,
and it does not ever cut into my white spider time.
Never.
When I'm supposed to be at work.
No,
never.
She's not walking dogs 4 hours out of the day.
Not 4 hours. That'd be fun though.
But it would be.
But that's the new work world. We've all adapted to it.
Exactly.
So.
But I mean, you know, being able to do that, I can see that, you know, her emotional well-being is greatly benefited, just even if it's 30 minutes or so. One other thing that I've noticed too is like just getting outside is a big deal. You know, like our back patio, or even we have a spot kind of in the backyard that I like to go out there a lot, and you know, but I've encouraged her to come out there and like it's kind of a forced effort in the beginning, but when she gets out there and we just have a conversation, you know, it's I mean, she ends up just really decompressing, and you can see it physically, like just some, you know, relief and some smiles.
It doesn't take much.
It doesn't really take much.
Really.
It really doesn't take much. And I think that's the responsibility of a partner in life, right? And that's kind of what we're really talking about.
Yeah, it's got to be a two-way street there.
It's got to be a two-way street. And you know, as you know, I see it as just a you know, when I started coming to revelation as I got older as a husband, that I'm actually a partner to somebody else's life versus, you know, all, you know, what's going on in my world. You know, I can see the impact that I can make, the benefit I can make with my partner in, you know, being proactive about, hey, let's take this time, let's do these things, let's go on a walk. You know, I mean, that's a big way to help relieve that stress.
It's awesome. And sometimes it's about the little things. So are there little things that you guys do? So maybe sometimes, you know, you can tell Tara's really stressed. So you're like, hey babe, you go read a book. I'll take care of the dishes, or I'll drive the kids around. Sure. Is there other little stuff that you guys do?
There is. I'll take a stab at that. Yeah. I mean, like there's number one, every morning I'll do some of the basic chores, right? Like do the dishes, put them up, feed the dogs, take the trash out. And just those things help her to get, you know, that way she can focus on what she needs to do. But it actually makes a big difference for her. I know that's really little, but I've kind of gotten this habit, like, you know, that and it does make a difference for her.
Yeah. I think no matter what, households vary across the country, world. So whatever that balance is for a marriage, but definitely it's a 90% my wife, 10% me overall, and you just try to get that a little more and more. Whether it's, you know, I take ownership of the laundry, which I really like to do, actually.
Yeah, laundry's kind of fun.
You just take something to balance that out with day-to-day stress, because everybody's gone through the COVID situations, and now we fast forward into the new normal, whatever that is, and you just have to keep doing the little things to balance it out.
You know, I think one of the more important things here, this is kind of getting very vulnerable on my end, is the fact that I have to write some of these things down.
Oh,
do you do that?
All the
You got checklists.
Okay, let's see.
I got to.
It's glued to my hip.
Yeah, I mean,
we have lists. Everyone's got lists.
I think
however you do it, you know, pens or.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that, because I've kind of like, man, that's kind of, you know, immature of me to have to write down some of the things that my wife would like for me to help her out with. And I have to remind myself. I really do, you know, but I don't think that's, you know, I guess, however I don't even know how to say it, but, you know, short-sighted or whatever, or selfish. But I mean, like something as simple as going and filling Tara's car up with gas. So she doesn't have to stop and do that. She actually appreciates that so much. And it's such one of those small things that, like, I don't even think about, and I never realized until she said it. But anytime I do it, it's like, I mean, like the greatest thing in the world.
Ladies love that. That's what women really want. If you know, guys are like, what do women want? You're like, just small stuff.
Just
like,
small stuff. Yeah.
Mow the yard. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You were so happy. We don't have to do it.
Yeah. And when if I take the initiative and make sure the back patio is cleaned off so she can go out there and sit down, I mean, she loves it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
It's like, it's so small.
Yeah.
It's a cliche, but it's true. The little things.
It's little things. Yeah.
I did find the master, though. The master thing I could do is massages.
Yeah. Really? That's not a little thing. That's a big
you gotta, Doug.
Some don't like them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I know that's an outlier,
but that's one thing I do.
I know that's good.
Yeah.
So do I like to do them.
I know.
Yeah.
Give her a massage, and she's really happy with that.
That's good.
But I got to remember to do that.
You remember to do that. Write it down.
The problem is not the massage; it's remembering to do it.
Is it?
Yeah.
We've all become, attached to our calendars. So maybe you can put it on your calendar. So
Yeah.
So it'll remind you. In 15 minutes, you should give Sarah
I've actually practiced that, and it worked. But the problem is the next day remembering to put it back on my calendar or whatever it is.
It's a recurring.
I need to make a recurring daily meeting massage. Yeah, absolutely.
Daily, wow. Yeah, that's setting the bar out.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know about Doug, but I don't know when to start or stop. So it's either all in or out.
Yeah.
You know?
So why should everybody take heart health seriously? And why should everybody, including women? Because sometimes women, I think women think the same thing too. They're like, oh, that happens to men. It doesn't really happen to women.
Mm-hmm.
And so why should they take this seriously?
Well, I think it's kind of what we touched on before. As I've been a part of the organization and my company and local team you see the statistics, you see the data, and heart disease does not discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this organization, especially with the Go Red for Women and that leadership council and bringing the awareness and visibility to it and all that, those type of things, you just have to, because there's no different than for example, my 60-year-old aunt that drops dead of a heart attack and had no, really preconceived illnesses. And you think you only hear that in males or men. And it's like, no, that can happen to either gender.
I think it took me a while, and it was because of the American Heart Association, I started becoming more aware of heart disease in women, right? I mean, as a guy just growing up, we're very aware of that. It is publicized, I think, more about heart disease really affecting men. We kind of grew up into that, with that mindset more.
Yeah.
I guess
I lost both my grandpas to heart disease.
Did you?
Yeah, early. Yeah. They were in their 60s. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happened.
Both. They were like,
Yeah, and so I think
you hear a lot of that, really.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that I just kind of growing up with just knowing that data for me as a guy, but becoming more aware of that, I think is important. To have that reality that this, like you said, it doesn't discriminate, right? There's no discrimination to it, and I think that also that there's continuously a little bit more pressure going in, to especially my wife, women, that there's just kind of this continuous growth of pressure that's going on.
Yes. All right. Last question. How can others help spread the word and the mission of the American Heart Association and the Go Red for Women event?
I really don't think it takes a lot of time and effort. And I say that in a positive way, where whether you're involved to, the leadership committee, the working directly for AHA, doing what Eric and I do from a sponsorship activity, volunteer level, it's just getting involved and, reading a little bit more about it. Mm-hmm. Reading, and then just trying to give a little bit of time if you can, whatever that is, donation, volunteerism, whatever segment that can be. Because I think so many charities and only so many time and money to go around, right? Mm-hmm. We're all busy, a lot of pressure, and I was fortunate where my company, we focused on this organization. It aligned on the health aspect, it aligned on the good deed aspect, but also really a larger problem. So not like a micro problem or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They're all, every organization like AHH has a specific role and function to the ailments and trying to find a cure or something or make it better. But I really think this just applies to everybody. Mm-hmm. It's such a wide thing, male, female, adult, young adult, elderly, and it's a big deal. And then also, in this community, Walmart truly supports it as a corporation, which always helps. And we're aligned together with Walmart from the top down, from merchandising all the way to the supplier side and everything in between. So it's a natural good fit for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I think that, especially, I think it depends. Like if it's a company that can get involved, definitely like what we were talking about, right? You got the sponsorships, you got, hosting events or whatever it might be. But as an individual, I think that something that's always important is just attending some of these events, right? Just kind of, which, you go to an event, you get to meet other folks, you get to learn more about the organization, but your contribution of just attending is a contribution, right? And spreading that word, and then talking with your family and your friends, and inviting them to these events, I think is a really good way, because the AHA puts on some really incredible events, that very inclusive and fun and enjoyable, but also educational at the same time and inspiring.
Yeah. And so the Go Red for Women luncheon is on May 17th.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
and then people can still sign up and get tickets and go, and it's right here.
Local here in Rogers,
right here in
at
Rogers.
Rogers Convention Center, using its new name. And you have a lot of good activities there, guest speaker, and that is a real good daytime function where you get a lot of learning done too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that they're going to have some stories. There's like actual, I don't know if it's survivor stories, but they're going to have, videos with stories.
Real life testimonials.
People that have gone through it. And so it'll be, very good learning experience.
And from what I understand as well, there's a great silent auction going on there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, show up, everybody, just really see the nice surprises there.
Yeah. See that.
Really cool gifts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and going there and participating in that is definitely a contribution, So, I mean, a lot of ways to contribute. And a lot of it can just, like in the beginning, I guess I'm kind of conscious of the folks that have never been involved. And if you've never been involved in anything, it's a little uneasy to walk in somewhere, right? But these types of events are perfect for that. Like, you get exposed to it. Yeah. It's fun. It's relaxing. Take a friend, take your family.
Yeah, and they're going to have stuff in the front. There's like there's going to be booths set up, so you can go and get. I think there's going to be. I don't know if Kiss has a booth, but there people can go and L'Oreal is going to have a booth with like makeup tips and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of really cool things going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brooke.